Hockey Aspire to be Deadly acknowledges traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognises the continuing connection to land, waters and communities. We pay our respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures and their elders both past, present and emerging. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples should be aware that this podcast may contain images, videos or names of people who have since passed away. Welcome, Wes.
Thanks for having me.
So, I believe you've just had the Karumba Festival of Sport.
Yes, held in the last week of Term 4 out in Karumba.
Lovely. And what is the aim of the Festival of Sport?
I think for us it's just giving the kids an opportunity of playing the sport. They don't have much opportunity out in the golf, so be able to supply a sport and carnival for these kids to participate in.
Okay, and what other sports are involved in this carnival?
It's always been a basketball carnival, but a few years when they started, hockey come along, tagged along, and now it's become the annual hockey and basketball tournament.
Woohoo! How many weeks and months in the planning process does this take?
This year was our hardest one to plan because of COVID happened last year. This didn't go ahead, and with new principals, teachers in Karumba, they weren't sure how this program carnival worked. So it took us quite a while. Probably started in April, May, just to get the conversation rolling and just trying to organise this event.
Gosh, it's a long time, isn't it? Now, do you go out to the schools and visit these schools, and if so, when?
They always make sure I go out beforehand, probably early term 3, just to help get the sport going, through little hockey programs, just to get the kids active and getting used to hockey again.
Yeah, and when's the best time? Is it like just a week before to give them like a bit of, hey, we're coming next week, like, come along?
I like to give them as much time as possible, so give them weeks after my visit to train, but knowing being remote schools that it doesn't always happen. Always start the first week, but then something pops up, we go the second week, something else pops up the third week, so you've got to be very flexible with your dates, but as long as you manage to go out there to get the kids ready is the main thing.
And they have PE teachers out there that can help introduce the sport.
Yep, most schools do have a PE teacher. Some of these schools are very small, there's only a couple of teachers, so we do supply them as much resources as we can to train these students, but we have parents, teachers, volunteers that help run this program.
Okay, so coming from a Cairns school that Aspire usually works with, how many kids are we talking about in these schools?
They can range from 10 to 12 in one whole school to up to a few hundred.
Wow, such a difference, isn't it? And so how many schools from around the Gulf actually turned up this year?
So we didn't have many schools this year come during being our first event in a couple of years, but we had Karumba, Gulf Christian, Normanton, Crawdon, Georgetown this year, so just the 5. But hopefully next year we'll double that to schools in the Cape and Mount Isa region.
Oh great, and how come the Cape and Mount Isa region didn't make it this year?
Just timing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most events, timing and has some sorry business, so it's been unfortunate, but hopefully next year we'll plan this earlier, get the dates out, and give the schools as much time to prepare for it.
Yeah, I guess if it's like a certain date, then they know, oh yeah, that's when it is. We'll make that available every year. Yeah. And so do you actually teach them how to play hockey as well when you go out?
Yep, so our programs, most of the kids have played hockey for a number of years, so it's just getting the kids back into the sport. There's always quite a few kids that it's the first time playing hockey, so they take a bit of while just to get up to speed with all the basic hockey skills.
And when they go to the carnival, that can be their first time too, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So but most of the kids have played for a number of years, which is good.
Great. Who provides the schools with the equipment to learn and practice?
We like to have good sponsors. A couple of years ago, Just Hockey supplied the schools with some hockey sticks, bags, shin pads and balls. But also some schools also buy the equipment themselves. They have sporting schools funding, their own funding, so through different organisations, they've found a way to find some gear.
Yeah. All right. And this year, I believe that the students were very lucky and schools were very lucky to get their own special set of equipment that were provided to Aspire to be Deadly. Who was that from?
Yeah, well, luckily one of our big supporters, Hockey Australia, provided each school with some packs, some hockey sticks, bags, water bottles, hats, jerseys, so quite a lot to give these schools to hand out.
Oh, amazing.
So special thanks to Hockey Australia for all that gear.
Oh, good. And so, off the topic of the schools, you went out this year. How long is the drive?
I'll say 8 hours, but it can be done quicker. But normally 8 hours, 8.5 hours. Yeah, normally about the time to drive out.
And it's pretty hot out there too, right?
Turn 3 starts warming up, so yes, it does get quite a bit warm.
And the wet season in the start of the year, is that correct?
Wet season's coming up for them, so basically Turn 4, Turn 1 is out for them. So yeah, it's pretty hard with the wet season.
What do they do in the wet season?
Most people leave the communities, otherwise you get stuck. But yeah, most go out to their own properties or head everywhere. This year, just somewhere in the state of Queensland, I think.
Oh my gosh. And so you say when they go out to properties, there's lots of stations around and lots of children come from the stations, is that correct?
Yes, most communities, all the kids come from stations.
So Wes, what kind of students are there then?
Well, each school's different in size and numbers as well. So some schools have a high Indigenous rate, some have a non-high Indigenous rate. So each school varies as well. Depends where they are. A lot of schools have a lot of kids on properties as well. So a lot of families that live on properties. Most kids come into school back and forth every day.
It's so interesting to me that the wet season they all leave. And yeah.
Well, it depends where they are. Say Karumba, that'll be shut off this year. Always is for a couple of months. So it depends where they are, and you're able to get in and out.
Amazing. And so what's the week's plan once you get out there? What's that look like for the Festival of Sports?
Basically, the first day after the travel is all about planning, going out to the fields, making sure the fields are set up, they're ready to go. This year, for the first time ever, we have 2 grass hockey fields. So the council, Carpenter Territory Council, was lucky enough to fence the whole field off, make sure they're watered, they're marked, they've got goal boxes. So there's 2 full-size hockey fields out there. So a lot of support from the local council.
With lots of grasshoppers.
Yes. so yeah, the first day is all about planning, and day 2, 3, and 4 is all about the competition, make sure it runs smoothly.
And the kids just stay at the hotels around, while they're there.
Some schools that need to travel, they'll stay over the night, but places like Karumba, Normanton, Gulf Christian, they travel home every day.
Wow, how long is that drive?
Just 45 minutes, just down the road.
Amazing. Oh, well that's okay, we can do that. And was it a good turnout this year compared to previous years?
Considering our COVID last year, and we didn't have high numbers, but we got numbers that I was very, very surprised with. Every school made sure that this was a priority and they brought the kids to it. So a lot of support from the schools, teachers, parents. They made sure this event goes on every year. It's one of the main events in Karumba that holds. Apart from the school festival, this is probably one of the main ones. And we just want to make sure this keeps going and going.
Yeah.
And with the support of the communities, the teachers, the schools, and make sure it's possible.
Yeah. And do you think those kids that have probably tried hockey for the first time, do you think they'll be back next year?
I think so. It's a different opportunity, different sport, and it's a fun few 2.5 days of hockey and basketball. So the kids always come away with a good time. They might not be the best hockey players, but they come away with a big smile on their face and they said, I want to be back again. That's our main focus.
Great.
Make sure the kids are happy.
Great. And is there a possibility of these kids going any further with their skills?
Yeah, we do try and provide pathways for these students, whether it is through coming down to Cairns or another centre, which most kids are going. They're from Cairns, Townsville, some went down to Sunny Coast, Brisbane, so they're pursuing hockey career down there. But if not, we also provide pathways to state carnivals, under 13 state carnivals, under 11 state carnivals, or even hockey carnivals from Cairns.
Right. Did you identify any children this year?
We've got a number of students. We want to make sure that go to the Northwest Trials this year, whether it's in Mount Isa or Normans. So we have about a dozen names there we want to try and push forward. But once again, with trials, anyone can go along. So we want to make sure, if a person has just started playing hockey and thinks they want to go along, they can go along.
Amazing. So when do you get to see these schools again?
I'm actually going out to Croydon in a month. They've got some more funding they want to spend, so I'll be travelling there for a couple of days. But normally I won't see these skills again until turn 2, turn 3 next year.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thank you for answering all our questions today. I believe there's a lovely video on YouTube of our recent journey to Karumba this year that people can get on and watch as well.
Yeah, it's a good little fun video, yeah. You'll see other kids having a good time, not just playing basketball but hockey, but yeah.
That's what
But the main thing is you see a lot of parents and supporters as well, so it's a big event. A lot of parents come up here and make sure this event goes on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Wes.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, Steph.